Welcome back. We are here, week 2 of the PWD. Still excited after week 1 turned out to be a great week. We're here with our week 2 battle against the Cianwood City Quagsires, the previous season champions. And they won their week 1 as well, making them undefeated in PWD history. We're going up against them for week 2. So this battle is a bit of a challenge to record in hindsight, knowing what already happened in the match and trying not to indulge into that before it happens in video. But talk about prep. Coming into this match, I seen trick room potentials in his team, as well as a couple fast threats, namely Drapion and Bolton. And lesser so against my team, but also due to his showing last week in DD. He does bring the Bolton, which I know that if it is Scarf and Jolly, max speed will outspeed my Blastoise at +2. He does bring the Indeedee, which can set terrain, but it can also set Trick Room. And with the other Pokemon on his team, namely not Scizor, I thought that this might be a Trick Room variant of the team, which it very well may have been. That just never gets revealed to us. So, in prep, looked at a couple different ways that he could win. I thought that Trick Room Lapras, Weakness Policy, or Assault Vest, but mostly Weakness Policy would be great against me. Of course, there's the Bolton, which I cannot outspeed. And as far as lead matchup goes, I definitely did predict the lead correctly. I just did not predict the way that he would go about using this lead. So I could have led with my Salazzle, knowing or guessing that he was going to lead Drapion. In hindsight, that would have been a better play. But, you know, I usually try to play things safe towards the beginning of games. And the safer play was to lead with Xatu, because I thought that a Taunt Toxic Spike set could be effective against me, especially if I didn't bring my Salazzle. Or if he was able to get rid of that, which, you know, he has a reliable ground type in Runerigus, he has Lapras, he has fairly reliable ways that he could deal with it, as well as a good Psychic type in Indeedee. But he doesn't do that. I figure when he sees this first initial lead matchup that he will just go for the knockoff on my Xatu. I could have stayed in and tanked it with my Cobra Berry, but there's no need because I should have been faster. You know, I mean, it appears that he was adamant because it could have been a speed tie or I outspeed, and with him running agility, I bet you he liked the speed tier against my team enough to just take the adamant nature. So, as one of my best defensive walls, I bring out Tangrowth. I know he could go for the Poison Jab, but I'm Rocky Helmet, max defense. I should be able to take one Poison Jab and get the sleep off. He goes for the Swords Dance, so instead I'm not panicking. I got him asleep. I just go and switch to my Aegislash. And this was definitely the pivotal decision in the game for me. Now, I didn't really want to stay in and do any of Tangrowth's attacks because, well, they're extremely ineffective against Drapion. Had I brought Earthquake instead of Synthesis, maybe that would have worked out a lot better for me, considering I already popped his Air Balloon. But what I did here, I could have done 3 different ways. I could have Dynamaxed this turn and went for the Max Steel Spike, which would have worked. I could have played it the most safe and just went for King Shield, which if I would have known he was going to wake up turn 1, would have worked the best, because I would lower his attack 1 stage, and then on my turn I could Dynamax and raise my defense another stage. Instead, I took the least safe route, and although he did get a little bit of luck with waking up pretty early, I also didn't, I could have played that a lot safer around his threat. Tried to play in a way to where my things would last longer. Really, at this point, when that wake up happens, there's only so many things I can do as a means of taking this thing on. I could go for a burn here if my berry allows me to survive a hit, but I don't. And so that's another reason why I believe it's adamant nature, is he's got the damage to pick up close kills like Cobra Berry Zatu. I think of going to my mill tank, but it's specially defensive. Salazzle could resist the poison jab, but he could also just go for knockoff. So I go back into Tangrowth, and I'm thinking at this point, there's only so many ways that I can remove this threat. To get off another sleep powder would be great, and I probably can still survive one more, maybe even two more poison jabs, depending on how it rolls. Because, well, even though he's got boost and super effective stab, Tangrowth is an extremely bulky Pokemon. Plus, if I play it very well, I could possibly even get some regenerator swaps. However, he gets a very well-timed crit, and in the same turn, I miss my sleep powder. At this point, I'm basically out of means to deal with this thing. Knowing that I did set up for him to go for another poison jab, I switch out to my Salazzle here though, because it can resist. It can't really do anything in return though at +2 speed, but maybe if I got a miss that I could, start working. Maybe you get one flamethrower off. Do something against this thing, because everything I've tried so far, both the sleep powders specifically, have gone, array. They haven't played out in my favor with a little bit of luck and a little bit of non-optimized planning. So, down to 3 Pokemon, but the last 2 being walls, I know I'm basically down to just this. So, we go for what we can, and we don't even get the chance to Shell Smash. We just Dynamax so that we can, have the best chance of surviving a hit, and start to Max Knuckle, because this is a physical Shell Smashing Blastoise. The Max Knuckle was one reason. The opportunity to run Brick Break against Lapras was another reason. And also, just having a little bit more damage against certain things. It helped out because I had to, run like Expert Belt and as many means for little minuscule ways of getting my damage up as I could, trying to prepare for this matchup. However, I look at the damage on the first one, I'm like, maybe with the boost and a good roll I can pick it up on the second. Otherwise I could have maybe went for Cannonade, which definitely wouldn't have killed, but would have picked up after turn. So another instance where my decision maybe wasn't optimal. I probably did get the low roll on this attack, but once again, with the boost, my decision wasn't really optimal. I could have went for the Cannonade. But, I'm not really going to make excuses about hacks in any way, shape, or form. Because, my opponent prepared well. He's seen a matchup that could exploit me out the gate. And He went for it and he executed. So, you know, sleep powder is not as reliable. That's just the way it is. You can't always depend on things like that to get you through a battle. So basically, if you can't tell how the story goes at this point, Ryan just proceeds to knock out my Pokemon, get the most deciding victory so far in PWD Season 2. So shout out to my opponent in the Cianwood City Quagsires. Looking promising for them coming into the later weeks, or the next weeks of PWD Season 2. So as it was last season when we played early on in the season, I'll take a loss to the Cianwood City Quagsires this week and hope to continue my winning otherwise in order to get a chance to play them again later on, and hopefully under a playoffs level of competition. So not a lot else that I can say, as only Miltank remains, especially defensive, and although it does barely live a hit like a champion, there's not really anything that it can do. I brought means to counter prep against Indeedee with the Steel Roller, but against Drapion, this ain't the answer that we're looking for, folks. So just gonna let this animation play through and we're gonna sign off. I appreciate if y'all leave a like on the video. Make sure y'all follow me on Twitch, and we'll be bouncing back in week 3 against Coach Bloud and the Immortal Drampas. You know, good friend. It'll be a great battle again next week too, but surely it will not go like this. You know, I mean, all credit to Coach Ryan, and of course credit to Coach Bloud next week as well, but we couldn't let a performance like this repeat next week. So until next time, I'm signing off. Thank you for watching.